Winning 100,000 euros in a minute sounds too good to be true, right? Hannah was a successful data analyst living in Germany, but one day a friend introduced her to gambling. At first, she thought she was winning until she lost everything. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Gambling has destroyed countless lives, and today you'll see exactly how. Watch till the end. What you hear today might just save you from making the same mistake.
Hey, my name's Hannah, and I live in Berlin. I'm a data analyst, and I was a gambling addict. I'm still trying to break free from it. It all started when an old college friend of mine showed up one day. We hadn't seen each other in years, probably 3 or 4. And when I saw him, I was shocked. He looked like a completely different person. Expensive watches on his wrists, luxury cologne, tailored suits, like he had totally transformed. Curious, I asked, "So, what are you doing these days?" "What do you do for work?" He smiled and said, "Not a job, something completely different." Before I could even ask what he meant, he pulled out his phone and opened up a game. I frowned, confused. "Dude, you're a grown man. You're still playing games?" He smirked. "This isn't like any game you've played before." He tapped the screen, 3 colors lined up, they exploded, and just like that, he won 300 euros. I stared in disbelief. "Wait, what? You just made that much money in a second?" Laughing, he said, "You could do it too. You could be making money like this." He sent me a link to the game and added, "Why are you even working? Why struggle when you don't have to? You deserve more." I shook my head immediately. "Nah, I have a job. I don't do stuff like this." But something about what he said stuck with me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Later, when we went to the mall, I saw people shopping, carrying bags of expensive clothes. And in my head, all I could see was my friend making 300 euros in a second. And that's how it started. At first, I held back. I told myself I wouldn't gamble. I'd take the subway to work, scrolling through Instagram, watching cat videos. But even there, betting ads popped up. I'd watch a movie, there'd be a gambling ad. And little by little, a thought started creeping into my mind. Should I at least give it a try? I resisted. I really did. But one day, I visited some relatives, and guess what? They were playing too. I asked how it was going. One of them said, "I've made a lot." Then he sighed and admitted, "But honestly, I'm 2,000 euros in debt." That's when it hit me. Am I really winning? Or am I just fooling myself? Since I was a data analyst, I thought I'd be able to play smart. I can manage this rationally. I analyze data for a living. I'm not just gambling. I'll develop a strategy. That's what I told myself. But one day I gave in. I clicked the link my friend had sent me, downloaded the app, started playing. First game, I lost. The screen didn't even open properly. I won nothing. But the thing is, I wasn't losing my own money yet. The game gave new users some free credits, virtual money. I hit play again, and this time, I won. It wasn't much, just 200 euros. But at that moment, it felt huge. From there, it spiraled. One more game, just one more. I kept going. I built it up to 800 euros. But that day, I ended up with 400 euros. I still felt like I was winning. So I went out and bought myself some stuff, updated my wardrobe, did some shopping. But after a while, I realized something. My mind was always on gambling. I'd go to work, prepare for meetings, but all I could think about was the game. Just one more round. When I lost, I'd feel awful. When I won, I'd feel euphoric. I kept trying to control my emotions. At the same time, I had this urge to tell people, but I couldn't. Saying I gamble out loud, it just felt wrong. Then I noticed I wasn't alone. There were others like me. We started talking. How much did you win? I lost this much. At the time, I was still up. My debt wasn't too bad. But then, one day, I won a huge amount. And that was my downfall, because they say The moment you win in gambling is the moment you truly start losing. If you lose, you probably won't bet too much more. But when you win, you start believing you can win even bigger. And from that point on, your entire life starts pouring into the game. After a while, I started spending my own money because I lost everything I had won. In just 15 days, I burned through 10,000 euros. And that money, I could have done incredible things with it. But greed? It's impossible to fight against. Gambling always wins.
Hannah, did you really believe you could beat a system designed to make you lose? Does that make you stupid?
Did I actually believe it? Listen, the people who build these gambling algorithms, they're my colleagues. That's why I thought I could outplay them. They say the house always wins. And it's true, but what I didn't realize was this. I couldn't outplay my own emotions. I couldn't control my greed. The more I lost, the deeper I sank. I kept trying to find a way out. But after losing 10,000 euros, I fell even further. I wanted to win it back. So I started spending even more. First 5,000 euros, then 10,000, then 20,000. And then credit cards maxed out. That wasn't enough. I started borrowing from people. At some point, my wife found out. She hated it. We had a shared budget, and I was constantly draining it. Stop doing this, she begged me. You're a data analyst. How can you be so reckless? But once you're in, logic disappears. I started lying. I secretly sold my gold jewelry, my wedding jewelry. At that moment, I wasn't even thinking straight. If someone had told me, one day you'll sell your gold to gamble, I would have laughed. Never. In fact, once my wife wanted to sell some gold to buy a new car. I refused, but later I sold it myself because my mind told me, I'll sell it now, but I'll win and buy something even better. Then I'll quit. But you never quit because it never leaves your head. I started waking up in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 a.m., to play. I wouldn't gamble while my wife was awake. I'd wait for her to fall asleep. And that's how I ruined my relationship. We were on the brink of divorce. Our biggest fight? One day, I borrowed money from a close family member. I lied. I told them I had been in a car accident and needed money for repairs. Weeks later, they texted my wife. Hey, heard about the accident. Hope you're okay. She was confused. What accident? And just like that, everything fell apart. She confronted me, and I couldn't lie anymore. I admitted it, and by that point, I was 1 million euros in debt. When she heard that, she said, I can't do this anymore. We were about to get divorced. What snapped me out of it? One day I went to work. We had a huge presentation that day. Months of preparation, strategy meetings, client discussions. And now it was time to present. But all I could think about was gambling. I had always been an incredibly disciplined employee. I took responsibility for everything, but now I was making mistakes. And that's when my life really started falling apart. At some point, I couldn't even attend meetings at work anymore. My career was falling apart. Then came my last chance, a meeting with a very wealthy client. We had been working together for a long time, but he could tell something was off with me. He looked at me and asked, Are you okay? What's wrong? I couldn't lie. I told him the truth. I was drowning in debt. And then he offered me money. But why? Why was he giving me money? Right then, something snapped in me. I asked myself, what am I doing? How did I let it get to this? I was married, for God's sake. I couldn't even look at myself. I got up and left the meeting immediately, but the damage was already done. The client called my company afterward, saying he was deeply disappointed and that I wasn't performing well. And just like that, I was fired. I had worked for years to build my career. I had a bright future ahead. But when gambling took over, I lost everything: my job, my marriage, and my financial stability. And now, I was drowning in debt I couldn't possibly repay. That's when I called my wife. I told her everything. I admitted how bad it had gotten and that I wanted to quit. Thank God she stood by me. If she hadn't, I don't think I would have made it through. We reached out to support groups for gambling addiction, and I've been trying to quit ever since. But the thoughts? They still come back. When they do, I get professional help. Then I learned something even worse. The money I lost? It was never really lost. It was part of a system. The second someone sends you a referral link and you sign up, they get a 5% cut of all the money you lose. So, my friend's wealth didn't come from his own success. It came from people like me. It was a pyramid scheme. And I realized it way too late. At first, I thought he was just making a little bonus from referrals. But once I got deep into it, I saw the truth. Every cent I lost was money going straight into his pocket. And that terrified me. I felt used. I had destroyed my life just so someone else could get richer. It was a mistake that would haunt me for years. My marriage almost ended. We had been planning to have kids, but after everything I had done, I was too ashamed even to think about it. At first, I was overconfident when I got into gambling, but now I know this isn't just my fault. Why is gambling advertised in every social media video? Why do I see betting ads on every website? Why is it so easy to access? Just one click, one tap, one download? Where's the government in all this? Why is there no regulation? Now that I've stepped back, I see it all so clearly. There are people online who act like they're living off gambling money. They post their luxury lifestyle, their expensive cars, their designer clothes. They live stream themselves playing. And for what? To lure more people in. Even when I was watching something innocent, just a cat video, gambling ads popped up. Why is nobody stopping this? Why is it so easy to get sucked in? This isn't just about weak personalities. Our egos are easily manipulated. That's why there has to be regulation. But honestly, I think something much bigger is going on. Some people see the same ads I do and never fall for it. So, should I blame myself? I think this is a much bigger social issue. If a person isn't fulfilled, we all could make the same mistakes. That's why I'm sharing my story, so no one else falls into this trap. Gambling is no different from drugs. It shouldn't be taken lightly. We shouldn't overestimate our self-control. Because this system, it's designed to make us fail. It's one tap away. And the worst part? When society pushes you out, it just drives you deeper into it. What I needed wasn't judgment, it was support. And the only way to beat this addiction is with help.
Why do people gamble? Why do they feel the need to make easy money? Why do they feel inadequate?
Because everything on social media is built around spending. Everyone is showing off their luxury bags, expensive cars, and five-star vacations. Is it really impossible to be happy without all that? I thought it was. And I never even realized how I got pulled into this system. I destroyed my life during this period. And now, looking back, none of it was worth it. But I only realized that after therapy.
Hannah, what was your biggest loss?
€1,850,000. This wasn't just one big loss. It built up over months. First, you lose money. Then you win a little and think you're recovering. Then you borrow money, pay off some debts. But then you end up owing even more. At one point, I was €850,000 in debt, and I worked hard to bring it down to €670,000. But I got sucked back in, and my debt jumped to €1.2 million. I managed to pay some of it down, maybe got it back to €1 million. But in the process, I lost my gold, my stock investments, even my land. €850,000, maybe even more, was spent just trying to cover my losses.
We've talked a lot about losing, but what about winning? What does winning feel like?
When you win in gambling, you actually lose. It takes over your mind. You could be in the shower and you'd think, Just one more game. I can win again. You wake up in the middle of the night to play. You sit with friends, but you can't even hold a proper conversation. My relationship with money was completely destroyed, and my life changed forever. Think about it. When you work, you earn a fixed salary each month. You budget your expenses, live within your means. But me, I was making 60 to 70,000 euros in a minute, sometimes even 100,000 or 150,000. At that point, money lost all meaning. I didn't care if something was cheap or expensive. Everything felt cheap because I could make that amount instantly. But that also meant I lost all motivation to work. I lost my passion for life. Money became just a number to me. For example, let's say I won 350,000 euros. It meant nothing to me. What did I do? I'd put it right back into gambling. Sure, I went on vacations, bought myself some luxury items, but in the end, every euro I won, I just gambled it away again.
Now I know there are people watching this video who are going through the same thing. As someone who's lived it, do I have anything to say to them?
Absolutely. Please don't feel alone. I promise you can quit. We can beat this. I haven't played in a while. Yes, sometimes I still dream about it, but you have to get therapy. We all have debts, I know. Maybe you can't afford professional help. But read. I read a lot about overcoming addiction. I watch videos on YouTube about it. And let me tell you, talk about it. Talk to people. That's the only way to break free, because this is an addiction.
Hannah's story isn't just hers. There are so many people trapped in this system, and most of them don't even realize it until it's too late. Gambling doesn't just take your money, it takes your time, your relationships, your life. If this video meant something to you, please like and comment. And if you don't want to miss stories like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.